Top lists are always picked subjectively, and this one is no exception, especially since it doesn't just feature the high-profile characters, but also some whose significance can only be seen after digging deeper into a game's lore. Oh, and there will be some spoilers as well, since some characters are key to the plots of their respective games, so, just be mindful of that. Now let's get started. It's not every day that a young human king gets kidnapped by the people who rebuilt his capital, escapes, loses memory, gets enslaved by the Horde, serves as a gladiator, becomes a champion, escapes, regains his memory, figures out a dragon created his duplicate to be her puppet king, overthrows her, and reunites with himself as the king of Stormwind once again. While the relatively short description above does not do Varian's story justice, every World of Warcraft player grew a degree of respect for the Human King during his reign, as he wasn't just hell-bent on winning the war against the Horde. His stoic composure would at times be replaced by moving moments of compassion. While the king appeared before this decade, he would serve as the face of the Alliance up until Legion. Handsome Jack is a psychopathic douchebag, and barely anyone will say otherwise. Granted, he has had a rough life that shaped him into what we encountered in Borderlands 2, but the point still stands. Still, his superficial charm grabbed countless players' attention as we played through the Vault Hunter's adventures in anticipation to see what shocking thing Jack might do next. Enslaving one's own daughter is extreme, but hardly the most surprising thing this villain pulled. However, his charm always kept the scales balanced, and he was simply a character we all love to hate. A captivating villain is a strong driving force, and Handsome Jack certainly fills that role. Bonus points for giving the players a quest to kill themselves and actually paying them upon completion. Still a jackass though, a pun intended. In truth, Morrigan's most captivating moments were in Origins, but that game was released just 2 months before the decade started. We'll give it a slight pass, but Morrigan's sarcastic charm persists in Inquisition, and it's safe to say that she did not lose any character. Not being fond of someone, or seeing yourself as their superior but still being able to accept their advice when appropriate is a telltale sign of a strong personality, and Morrigan's withdrawn persona didn't stand in her way of becoming a reliable ally. She is an extremely rare example of a mage not giving in to demons' temptations while also strongly opposing the oppressive means of controlling the magic-gifted individuals. She never flinched in the face of danger and aided both the hero of Ferelden and the Inquisitor by putting herself on the line with means of defeating the ultimate antagonists who were experimental at best. Christine appears in Fallout New Vegas somewhat briefly, as her physical presence is limited to Dead Money DLC. However, despite Sierra Madre Adventures being generally rated the lowest among New Vegas expansion packs, the former Brotherhood of Steel assassin made it much more interesting. She is initially mute, meaning we had to deal with indirect dialogue as we try to figure out what Christine's gestures meant, adding to the character's depth and feeling of connection. Also, Christine was the only one in Dead Money you could truly trust not to stab you in the back, and ironically the most mentally stable character, despite being locked for weeks in an auto dock that ripped her vocal cords out. Overall, in a DLC that not many liked and even fewer replayed, Christine was a shining point as her intricate character made the heist attempt more interesting and less of an anxiety inducer, which earned her a rightful spot on this list. Yes, we understand that some viewers may ask why Iris is on the list of top video game characters of the decade, but she is a great example of exquisite writing that managed to provoke feelings of empathy toward a bunch of pixels. She was part of a forbidden love as her husband's family lost their wealth. It took her lover a literal deal with the devil to bring it back, which looked like a fairy tale ending for Iris at the time, only for her to discover that she actually walked straight into a nightmare. Iris' sad tale is told through the game's background mostly, and we encounter the talented painter only briefly during a single main story quest in Hearts of Stone. In case you didn't go through it, this is definitely a story you want to experience. Grab The Witcher 3 and immerse yourself in one of the saddest but also the best short stories ever told in a video game. PvP in Destiny and Destiny 2 is a fast-paced endeavor, which also means a lot of salty moments are on the line. It certainly isn't fun when you get instantly popped by a melee-happy Titan, handheld Supernova, or one of the worst abominations in recent memory, OEM Titans with Recluse and Mountaintop. This is where Lord Shaxx comes in with his endless optimism. If you happen to be on a roll, you will hear Shaxx singing your praises. Well, not really singing as he's very shy, but his upbeat voice is certain to make the experience more enjoyable. Even when losing, Shaxx isn't chastising players but trying to rally them. Shutting down a super sends the handler of Crucible into an ecstatic frenzy. Bottom line, Shaxx is designed to make players feel better about their PvP experience and is one of the few voiced NPCs that don't vex the Guardians, unlike a certain relative of Fenchurch. This is the single best bro character in any game to exist in any universe ever. The Deadeye Turian believed in Shepard from the get-go, provided some of the best banter seen in video games, and was there for the commander through thick and thin. Even in Shepard's absence, he did not waste time and decided to go on a crusade against crime in Omega, probably the most crime-infested place in Milky Way. Besides bearing the titles of Certified Badass and Best Bro, he's also known as the Eternal Calibrator of Weapons. Aside from being the best written companion to the main character in any game, he is also one of the most useful guys out there. Are you having trouble with those pesky harvesters on Insanity? No problem, it will be taken care of. So that concludes our list of top 7 video game characters of the decade. Let us know your picks in the comment section below, and please make sure to head over to AltChar.com for much more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching, this is Subrail, and see you in the next video.